And with us now in the studio is Jane Sundius, Director of Education and Youth Development at the Open Society Institute. Jane, thank you for being with us.
It's my pleasure.
Corporation for Public Broadcasting has this initiative called American Graduate, which is to focus attention on the dropout problem, look for solutions. How big a problem is this?
I think it's an extraordinarily large problem, and one that we really have to tackle, not only if we're going to be competitive in a global arena, if we're simply going to be the kind of country that we've been in the past with opportunity for all. We have an alarming number of students who don't make it through high school, and then those that do make it through, many of those are not prepared to go any further. So I don't think we can understate it. We've had quite a lot of success in education reform at the lower levels, I think, the way I would characterize it. And in many places, children graduate on time. But we have a problem in our concentrated poor communities where it does not seem to be the case that graduation is the norm, nor is it's even less a norm that people go to college and other kinds of secondary training after high school.
Now, I mean, there's some preconceptions, maybe misconceptions here that some people drop out for good reason, because they have to work, they have to support a family. How often is that the story?
Well, I think that is a very big part of the story. We have a system of high school that's really designed for children, youth, who have parents at home that can provide for them what they need, the meals and the clothes and all the rest, and they go off to school and they can be in school 5 days a week, from 7 to 3 or whenever it is, and then come home and do their homework. And for many children in the city, this is just simply not the case. Either they have children or they're watching younger brothers and sisters. Sometimes I say they have to earn in order to keep learning instead of learn in order to earn, because it is really the case. Many of them choose between going to school and trying to earn a little bit of money. I think some of them have daycare issues, some of them have to take care of sick relatives, some of them simply have transportation or health problems. So these kinds of things, reorienting, the working with time and both making it more flexible so that students can go in the later evening, can go year round, it just makes a lot of sense, and I think we have to go that way.
And it's a problem for society as a whole.
Yes.
I mean, certainly it's a problem for the people who aren't getting the skills that they're going to need to succeed in life. There are fewer low-skill jobs out there, and you're shooting yourself in the foot. But as a society, we shoot ourselves in the foot too.
Yes, because not only do we not create workers that are going to be highly productive or citizens that are going to be highly engaged, but we also create a burden for our society where these folks tend to be ill more. Dropouts tend to be involved with the criminal justice system and all the kind of negative things. We think of that as the path that we don't want to take, the path that should not be taken. But one of the things I think is really important to recognize is the problem is not just that these children have very, very challenging lives. The problem is that also that when children get to the point where they can sort of see what's beyond high school, for many of them, it doesn't look like there's anything there. They either work and live in a community where there isn't a lot of success in terms of the workforce, or they live in a community where there are no jobs, or where people don't go to college, or they don't know people have gone to college. So my sense of it is that when kids get into high school, our job is not to graduate them from high school. Our job is actually to connect them to their futures while they're in high school, so that they see. It's to help them make that transition by providing them, as soon as possible, opportunities to work, opportunities to be in a post-secondary organization arena. It really, we have to make it so very natural. And so just a logical extension of high school, rather than high school's a separate thing and you finish it after 4 years and then maybe you go someplace else, but that's kind of up to you.
OSI, Open Society Institute, many people may know, was funded by George Soros, a great financier and philanthropist, and he's invested a lot of money in Baltimore.
He has.
I don't know how much has gone into your particular efforts, but where have you gotten some traction? What's worked, and is there anything where you threw some money, you spent some time, and it just didn't work?
there are some areas that we feel we've made quite a lot of headway in, and frankly, they're having big results in terms of improving our graduation rate and lowering our dropout rate. I should say, too, that although the problem is still very big, Baltimore is making big strides. I mean, we were the city in the nation that had the largest increase in African American male graduation rates and the biggest decrease in dropout rates. Now, maybe that was because we had quite a long way to go, but we really made an enormous stride. And the reason we did that is because actually we stopped pushing kids out. We stopped suspending them for minor misbehavior. We started when they left. Dr. Alonzo and the school superintendent, he would actually set up these great kids come back fairs where they would talk to the kids that left and say, how about giving it another try? And it is really remarkable when we cut our suspensions from 25,000 in 1 year down to 10, the increase in our graduation rate came right along with it.
This is also an issue, a project that doesn't start in the 9th grade.
Yeah.
You need to reach kids earlier.
Mm-hmm. I like to think of it as a need for vitamins rather than a need for a vaccine. That children need supports all the way through. You can't start and stop at any one point. We know this as parents, right? We can't say, okay, I'm going to spend a lot of time with you on your schoolwork when you're 7, but I'm not going to do it later on. No, we have to do it constantly all the way through. So you're right, we have to start early, but we have to stay constant in our support for our children.
If you had all of Mr. Soros's money, not just a little bit, what would you do with it? What could be ramped up or expanded?
Well, certainly job creation, and internships, so that students really would have exciting things to look forward to and really have a model of what their life could look like. But there is no doubt that we also need to enormously increase our health and mental health services to students. There is, as everybody knows, still quite a lot of violence in our city, and we have many, many children who are traumatized by it. We're just beginning to understand the impact that has on the brain and how much it closes down the ability to learn. It's not irreversible at all, and that's the exciting part of it, but it does take health and mental health services. So those are some of the things. I practically come up with a very long list, actually.
Well, that's a good start. Jane Sundius is with Open Society Institute. Thank you for coming by.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
We appreciate it. That is our program for this week. Join us every week at this time for the latest on Maryland's political stage. You can also connect with State Circle online. Streaming videos of our programs are available at video.mpt.tv.